have tools scattered across 3 different bags, 2 different rooms, and somehow in my car. That's because I've been moving into my brand new office here at the Ultimate Sewing Company. We've expanded, we've got fabric machines, classes, and now my dad has joined me as our in house repair technician. So today I'm taking the chance to pull my machine repair toolkit back together and show you what I actually keep in it. If you like taking care of your own machine, this will give you an idea of what essentials you can keep on hand. And if you'd rather leave the deeper stuff to the pros, bring it on in. And I'll put Amazon links below in case you want to grab some basics for yourself, or you can come in and shop the items that we have here in store. Let's get started.
All right, so this is the final haul. I dumped it all out so I can reorganize it. I even found a bunch of random bits that I really hope I can find the home of. So, what is all this stuff? Let's go through it. Let's start at category 1. Things you need if you're a person who sews at all. I definitely like these really low profile thumb screwdrivers for getting in and out of your needle plate area. Also for changing your needles and your feet if you have to take the ankle off. They're small, they fit well, and they have good grip. Tweezers, of course, these are not my favorite. These are better because sometimes you get that thread stuck and kind of get it out. An anti-static lint brush, guys. They probably came with your sewing machine and we love them. You got to dust out that little bobbin area, keep your machine working happy. Machine oil. I like this little pin applicator. This is a big caveat. Most modern machines actually self-oil at this point. So you may not need this guy depending on your machine. Feel free to come in and ask. And the humble headlamp. There we go. I think that all of us know that there's no such thing as too much light in the sewing room. And sometimes you just need a little extra help. Speaking about extra help, this is potentially my favorite thing I sell in my entire store. This is a needle threader for surgery. You can see mine's filthy because I've used it to death. All you do is you line up this notch right here, parallel to your needle, and your thread goes perpendicular across. You slide it down, and it pokes gently through the eye of the needle when you get to that part. I love this thing. Those of you who know me in real life know that there's pretty much always one in my pocket. I do sell these here in the store. Also, I will have a section of things that at the end of things that I sell here in the store for you to pick up that I think are great tools for cleaning and maintaining your sewing machine. All right, category 2, stuff that you might need if you consider yourself an at-home repair technician, doing some minor repairs on your machines at home. Let me scoot this out of the way so we can look at this one at a time. All right, number 1, dish drying mat. I know, crazy. I got this from the dollar store. I like these because I can put my machine on it instead of having to pick the whole machine up and turn it around. I can just spin it around on the mat. All grease, all oil, everything goes on the mat, not on my table. I've also scratched more than one table in my day. This will protect it from gouges and scratches too. So, dish drying mat. Speaking of keeping things clean, my friends, the lint, microfiber paper towels, and Mr. Clean. Sometimes on older machine models, there can just be some gunk that needs to be gently released, but you don't want to add additional fluff into your machine. So, like the anti-lint mats, I like gun cleaning cloths, and sometimes I like a swabby for getting a piece of grease in or out of a small, tight crevice. Speaking of crevices, so I know a lot of people are very tempted to use compressed air, and that just pushes stuff further into your machine. We don't want to do that. We want to vacuum it out. So you can either get a little mini one or you can get a kit that attaches to your regular size vacuum and has these itty bitty little brushes for getting all the fluff out. I do sell these in the store and I absolutely love them for sergers. But how are we getting into the machine? With teeny tiny screwdrivers. This Weehaw kit quickly became one of my favorites. It's ultra low profile, so you can get it into those little crevices. It's got hex and torque, which you need for the different machine models. But before I had that, I had this. This is a small kit. You can get into the longer spaces with it with the little extender. I used this for years from just like you find them around Christmas that you get these for people's stockings. You can also get computer and small electronic repair kits with that are tiny enough, but sometimes they're too tiny and you can't get the T20s and the T10s that you need to open some of the machine parts. So nice mid-size, ultra low profile. I'll link both of these because I love these so much. LED replacement bulbs. Guys, a lot of the older machines, they burn really hot and the bulbs burn out and they're not that bright. they're very warm on your hands. These are so easy to replace. You can definitely do that. They have the screw in and the bayonet style for all machine models. Pick some of these up if you have an older machine. Brushes of varying types. All right, so you can get these in a huge pack. They're little tiny makeup applicator brushes, itty bitty. Card detailing kits, also a great place to look for tiny brushes and sponges. Or here in the store, we have the cleaning tools. They look like little mascara wands. And so they go in there and they grab the gunk in the thread and they pull it right out. I have these in the store. All right, next one, you're gonna laugh at me. That's okay. It's needles. 90% of the machine problems can be fixed by putting a fresh needle in your machine. I'm serious, guys. Try that before you go crazy and break your machine apart. Why 90 universals? Because typically a 90 universal is what you're gonna use to set your machine. It's like the calibration needle. So this is what I carry in my on-the-go repair kit. Sometimes I'll stop by senior living facilities and I'll go down the hallways and I'll help them repair their machines, and that's the kind of thing I would bring with me. Magnetic tray. If you are going to start taking screws out of your machine, have a safe place to put them. This way they don't roll away. This is also good for storing your thread bits and stuff when you're sewing on a project. Collapses down, super easy to use. You can also use, all my stuff is stuck in it, the little car magnet trays from Harbor Freight. Also a good option, but they're heavier and they don't collapse down as nice. All right, and if you are going to crack open your machine, you want to do so with the aid of an electrostatic mat. I've lost the mat currently in my cleaning palooza, but I found this part, so I'm gonna have to look for the mat. The only other thing that I do not have that I would put into this category is a tension gauge, something that measures grams so that you can check the bobbin tension of your machine. Very important and pretty doable by the average person that likes to tinker. All right, let's talk about tools that I use when I'm repairing sewing machines. Nowadays in my shop, my dad is my primary repair guy. So I'm running a lot more classes, but that doesn't mean that I don't occasionally go to people's houses and do some repair, or may need to travel to a class and do some repair. So I'm still going to have my kit packed, which is what I'm doing today, is finding my pieces and repacking my kit. First off is jeweler's sandpaper. This is ultra fine grit. Sometimes on a machine, you'll have like a little spur on the bobbin casing, and instead of getting a new bobbin casing, I'll try to buff it out first. Doesn't always work, but it's worth a shot. Teensy tiny wrenches. I've only had to use these like or twice. I'm kind of the rather have them and not need them mentality. Felt pads and Velcro strippies. This would go with the light bulb from the last category for things that I just like to do people's machines before I give it back to them so that it's just nice, it looks refreshed, and organize their cord. It's just a nice extra step for people. My bag of bobbins. Sometimes when I'm going to repair a machine, I'm off site. They may or may not have the bobbin for the machine. And honestly, even with this bag, I may or may not have the bobbin for the machine, but at least I have some options to dig through. So I just try to grab a different brands, different sizes. Dental picks. This took me a while to find. I couldn't come up with the word for it until I was getting my teeth cleaned, and I realized that that's what I need, dental picks. These little guys can get into the nooks, crannies, and crevices to pick free those thread wad gremlins that form. So these have been invaluable. I use these all the time in my machine repair to kind of stuff that has gotten stuck. Slightly longer screwdrivers. I love my Ace kit. What I found out is that sometimes to get in through the plastic casing of the machine, you do need a longer bit. And this solves most of my problems, except for on a couple of Husqvarnas. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You need like ultra long Torx head to get into those. So I have this set just for machines as well. Spring release. I didn't know what this was. And then when I saw it, it was one of those, where have you been all my life? So you have to unhook the itty bitty springs inside of the machines, the integrated dual feed or near the auto threader. You just have to take it off and put it back on later. And this guy is golden. Feeler gauges, of course, used for machine parts, usually the hook height or the feed dogs. Got to have a set of these, as well as teensy tiny Allen wrenches. Spludging tools of all kinds. I'm missing most of my kit. I think that my dad might have inherited those accidentally. For getting into the soft plastic of the machines without damaging or scratching them. Sometimes, but rarely, You do need a set of pliers. The other tool that I know is missing that I have to find is my forceps. I actually use medical forceps more than I use pliers. Those I use all the time. Again, in conjunction with the dental tools to grab and pull out thread nests. And this, honestly, I don't know why this is in my kit. This might be one of my husband's tools that has migrated to my sewing room. Oops, we'll give that back to him. I know I just talked about compressed air and why we want to use a vacuum instead, and I stand by that. I really do. However, if you have the entire free arm of your machine off, you can use compressed air because it's blowing through the naked free arm of your machine, not into the machine. So that's the difference there. And my last tool, I showed this one to my dad and he absolutely loved it. Painter's tape. When I'm fixing a machine with a million teeny tiny little screws, I will use as much painter's tape as I can to just tape over the hole where the screw goes into to keep the screw in there. That way, at the end, it's not a guessing game of like, where did that screw go? Which hole does it fit in? Because it's taped in place. I unscrew it all the way and then I tape a little bit over the hole to keep it stuck in there. Just before you leave, I do want to remind you I have a store now. And I would love it if y'all would come see me and take some classes with me and maybe see if there's something that you'd like to buy to support me, support my store, and support more educational classes and videos coming out to you. So, for an example, these are all things that I have that you can pick up in the store, as well as our fantastic class calendar and tons of fabric that you saw at the beginning there. I hope to see you in if you're local. And if not, drop a comment in the section and tell me what tool I forgot to mention. I'm sure there's probably some really obvious ones that I just wasn't thinking about. So drop that in the comment section and we'll see you on the next video.